Kind of speechless after that one, bro.
Yeah, Big Dick Nick went out and did big dick things, and he came home with it. Defense made a play when they needed to. Fly Eagles fly, Super Bowl 52 champs.
Hey, he made us out to be complete fucking assholes.
Oh, I'm totally fine with that. I am totally fine with being wrong. Hands up, wrong as fuck. I thought 35-17 was my prediction. Fantastic game. Fantastic game.
I guess that's the part about being a sports fan, man. You take your lumps, man, when you're wrong. But at the end of the day, man, it was a great Super Bowl. I put it in my top 3 for sure.
I put that 2 or 1.
But real quick, man, before we get into the Super Bowl 52 talk, because we got a lot to talk about today. Super Bowl Sunday's filled with great American tradition of football and, being with family. And unfortunately, in the football world, we did witness tragedy this morning. A lot of people don't know him. He's a small-time player for my team, but we had tragedy in Indianapolis this morning with number 53 inside linebacker Edwin Jackson dying in a car crash, killed by a suspected drunk driver. And as much as we preach open-mindedness and how much we believe in that, we would never, ever promote people getting behind a wheel intoxicated. And unfortunately, this morning or yesterday morning, it took a life of somebody who was representing our city, representing my city. So condolences go out to the family.
Definitely thoughts and prayers out to the family of
Edwin Jackson.
Edwin Jackson.
He was an up and coming star. He wasn't an up and coming star, but he was definitely. He gave 120. He didn't give 110. He gave 120.
Definitely a life lost far too early. Again, thoughts and prayers to the family, friends. My condolences. I'll keep all my prayers tonight and so on. But
since we got the sad shit out of the way,
back to
the meat and potatoes and the bread and butter of this.
Fantastic game.
And in the first half, man, I thought we were going the same way we were going in Super Bowl 51, man. Philly hit it strong early, and then New England starting to come back in the beginning of the second half.
They definitely made it a game. There was definitely a game that was made, and it was fantastic from start to finish. Ballsy call on 4th and goal at the 1. Go for it on a gadget play to your linebacker to toss it to the quarterback.
I felt like it was Doug Peterson trolling Bill Belichick because
doing big dick things.
I feel like Doug Peterson was low key trolling Bill Belichick because what was it, a drive or two before that? New England pulled that gadget play and sent Tom Brady out into the flat, and he dropped the pass, and now they do this
a little high for him. I mean, he's not a receiver. He's not expected to go out and make these great athletic plays, but it's almost one of those things you expect out of the Patriots to be able to hit that on whenever they call it up. And, one time it doesn't. I don't think it cost them a game, but that definitely did not help.
It was a big momentum shifter.
Easily. But so is that 4th and goal, I think. I think that definitely changes the momentum of the game.
And the nail in the coffin was definitely that fumble, man.
You think?
Tip to all my football guys out there and Super Bowl watchers. When you're cooking Super Bowl food, never cook inside 2 minutes like my dumbass did, because I was a split second away from missing that fucking fumble and missing probably one of the most important plays of this year.
Came in from the backyard. He was on the back deck grilling, and all he sees is me with my jaw wide open, witnessing history as Brady is strip sacked at the very end of the game, setting up a go-ahead field goal. And
it's okay, because why Nick Foles was big dick nicking, I was big dick grilling, and but anyway, yeah, it was.
What do you think about that call on the ensuing kickoff after that field goal, to toss it back to somebody and waste time and not get any fucking yards?
They were just trying to do some schoolyard bullshit. I mean, at that time, you just got to pull all your cards out, man. And I thought.
I get it, but Bill Belichick, I don't think is a coach that would do something like that. I did not think that was something he'd pull with such little time. No timeouts.
It's funny you say that because nobody thought, and this was just a regular season game that I'm about to mention, but back in 2009, the year the Colts lost to the Saints in the Super Bowl on Week 8.
4th and 2.
He went to it on 4th and 2, and
the 35.
Didn't get it. I wasn't expecting him to go for it on that, but You get it, you're a hero. If it converts, you're a hero. If you don't, then you look like an asshole. Pete Carroll knows all about that. And that's Super Bowl. That's a
Definitely,
Super Bowl reference right there.
definitely, definitely, some coaching meltdowns. I so many unbelievable plays I can't even keep count. Just ridiculous. And one of the big things I noticed was something far different than every game this season. All the bullshit calls that New England usually gets. All these, borderline, is it a catch? Is it not a catch? Was he in? Was he out? Did he have possession? Did not go New England's way. All went Philly.
Well, we got to do something about that catch rule. NFL's definitely got to do something. It should happen this year. I will give kudos. I will give a shout out. And I don't ever fucking, especially in a Super Bowl, give a shout out to officiating. But Gene Stanitor, or however you pronounce that last name, him and his crew did a really good job officiating this game. That's one thing I've noticed about him and his crew. They're always lenient on catches. However, like I said, I don't give kudos to officiating hardly ever.
In all the years I've known you, which is we're going on 7, 8 now. I've never once heard you compliment any officiating.
He's keeping track.
Any fucking game I've ever watched with this dude in the almost 8 years I've known him.
They're like commentators. Usually, a lot of, and it's not just me. It's a lot of other people that they spend time bitching about him more than they do complimenting him. But refereeing and officiating is a hard job. I mean, it's hard to catch it. We got a better view, and still for us at home, it's still hard to catch every little single.
And they're doing
detail.
it in real time. It's so ridiculous that these dudes.
And you're asking them to be perfect in real time over a game that's a game of inches.
It's definitely one of the hardest jobs, and easily you're in it, you're gonna get shit. You're gonna get shit on by everyone else. Everyone in their couch is a great officiator when you have all the replays, all the slowed down shit, all the camera angles, and as a ref, you're doing it in real time.
So let's shift tracks a little bit, just a little bit, and let's talk about the top 3 plays of this football game. My number one, I'm gonna give a number one. I want you to give a number one. We'll just go back and we'll just flip flop back and forth. Number one has to be that gadget play, Nick Foles catching a touchdown pass in the end zone.
That definitely would have been my number one. If not that, I'll take the strip sack at the end of the game. That seals it for Philly.
Absolutely.
And even then, Brady almost pulled some unbelievable shit.
Number three has to be that go-ahead touchdown by Jack Ertz.
Yeah, definitely a great athletic play.
He coughed up the ball right there. Not like it mattered, but he finished it.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, as a Steeler fan, I'm referencing week, 14, 15, where they played New England.
Mm-hmm.
And, what I thought was some football moves that easily made possession, doesn't go Pittsburgh's way. And I know they referenced it, oh, what the fuck? And, as a fan, yes, I am thinking that, oh, well, Pittsburgh doesn't get that fucking call. Who cares? Who cares at this point?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the reference, but whatever.
So let's dig deeper and let's break this thing down a little bit further. So let's go. Let's review the top 3 plays. We're pretty much in agreement on it since we watched it together, and then we'll do 1 or 2 honorable mentions. Number 1, we have agreed to that the gadget play by Nick Foles.
There were some unbelievable catches. I mean, Alshon Jeffrey had a pretty good game in the first half, and then
who caught that first touchdown? Was that Aguilar? I could be wrong.
It might have been Jeffrey. I'd have to look back at it. I don't. Like I said, so many unbelievable catches.
Right.
Big Dick Nick just doing big dick things, making plays. That one catch by that running back, he threaded the needle.
That's one great thing about the NFL because Nick Foles was actually thinking about quitting, and then he got reunited with, or he got united with Andy Reid, which is honestly one of my favorite coaches right now.
Yeah, he got cut by the St. Louis Rams at the time.
Los Angeles.
Were they the LA Rams?
They were still in St. Louis.
They were the Rams. He got cut, and he thought about quitting football, thought about just retiring and doing his thing, and he went on a camping trip with his brother, and this is something you'll hear probably for the next few months in between football seasons, but he went on a camping trip with his brother-in-law, and he decided, I'll come back, but I only want to play for Coach Andy Reid, went to Kansas City, and then he got picked up by the Eagles. I think this honestly is going to be a fantastic offseason for Philadelphia because you're in such a great spot.
Not even for Philadelphia, with all the head coaches, the head coaching. It's a great year for new head coaches.
But I feel like as a GM, you're definitely walking into a fantastic spot when you have 2 quarterbacks, one who is MVP caliber before he got injured, and now you have a Super Bowl winner who put up a fantastic game in the Super Bowl. I mean, he was when he first came in, he was more of a game manager. He was just somebody that you needed to manage a game instead of win it. And all of a sudden they said, you know what? Do big dick things. And he became Big Dick Nick. And I will coin that forever. He is fantastic quarterback this year.
I'm going to go on a limb right here, man, and say that Nick Foles is probably the biggest underdog quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl. Him and whoever backed up Phil Simms in the 92 the 92 game where fucking New York or Buffalo shanked that kick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that he had one of the more complete games as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Brady had a great game. Brady threw for 500 yards.
It was a great team performance by both teams. That's what made it a top 3 Super Bowl easy.
Easy. Just fantastic play from both offenses. Philadelphia's defense just comes in clutch. The running game for Philly was unbelievable and almost unstoppable all day. They At one point, Blunt was literally just touching the ball and getting 10 yards.
Well, that secondary came up huge.
Both did. I think both teams did, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
They had their times. There was a pick from New England that was, bobbled up catch, whatever. Honestly, just fantastic game. I'm still kind of speechless from it.
I think Ajayi's kind of a little bit undermentioned.
Both running backs had a great game. I mean, that line was just giving them holes, and they were finding it all day. Rex Burkhead had a great game for New England. He had some plays.
Chris Hogan
came up huge when Brandon Cooks went down. What a hit. What a hit.
Let's create a little debate. And I want everybody that's listening to this podcast to drop it in the comments below, clean hit or not. We'll create a little poll in the comment section, keep it a little interesting.
I think that's definitely a football play. Growing up, that's a football play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've always played like, hey, that dude's standing around in the middle of the field, lay him out. He hit him clean. He didn't try intentionally lead with his head. He led with his shoulder, and yeah, it was helmet to helmet, but that's a football play. He wasn't a defenseless receiver. He was standing in the middle of the field.
That's where I'm at. There was more shoulder leading than there was head leading. I know we're going to get a lot of hate from New England fans, and that's okay. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. The top 3 plays of Super Bowl 52. Number 1 is going to go to Nick Foles' receiving touchdown, the gadget play in the red zone. Number 2,
strip sack.
Strip sack. Was that Fletcher Cox who strip sack?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't know that many Philly players. Honestly, I didn't even pay attention to them outside of Nick Foles before today. I couldn't even have told you who the running backs were.
And number 3 has to go with Ertz.
Ertz, yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
Go ahead, touchdown.
Totally
that was
agree.
Clutch. MVP Nick Foles, agree with it?
Oh, easily.
He was starting the needle. He definitely showed that he is got nothing short of a bright future in the National
Coach
Football
Doug
League.
Peterson definitely allowed him to do what he needed to do to win a game. He did not hold back one bit.
We're going to go ahead and establish the fact that Doug Peterson, I said this before the second half ended, Doug Peterson is the most underrated head coach in the NFL right here, right now.
Obviously not anymore. He just won a Super Bowl over Bill Belichick.
Absolutely.
Which I thought was impossible. I did not think he was a good enough coach to outcoach Belichick. I didn't think Nick Foles was a good enough quarterback to outplay Tom Brady. And they both proved me wrong. Hands up, I was wrong. Totally happy about it. And totally okay with it.
I give nothing but credit to that Eagles front office. They picked the right man for the job.
They definitely did. And, I mean, at quarterback, they said, you know what, next man up. Nick Foles got to step up or we're not going to do anything. And
so
he went all out.
On a grade scale from A to F, what do you grade this Super Bowl 52?
A+. A+, 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There was no dull moment at all. Every play, you were on the edge of your seat expecting a huge play from somebody. I'm
going to top you. I'm going to give it an A+++.
Plus?
Plus.
Extra credit.
Extra credit. Absolutely.
One thing that I will give an F to this Super Bowl for, the commentary. I hate Collinsworth. Chris Collinsworth, what the fuck? He couldn't get Brady's dick out of his mouth. Every single fucking other word was, oh, Tom Brady's this, Tom Brady's that. Oh, he made a bad play.
Making it that
Oh,
does
he has a cut on his hand, guys. We weren't saying that shit in the fucking conference title game.
in my opinion, the best thing Chris Collinsworth is good at is making excuses for the New England Patriots.
Like I said, total F- on the commentary. Horrible job tonight, Collinsworth.
And it's sad because they got such a shitty commentator matched up with Al Michaels, who is a great play-by-play commentator who's commentated baseball. He was in.
I think he commentated the Masters a few times.
He might have back in the 80s or 90s, but he commentated that Giants World Series back in the 80s, late 80s when the earthquake happened.
That is true. Also, another F from me personally. The halftime show left a lot to be desired. Fuego outfit from my boy Justin Timberlake. Fuego outfit. I love the suit. Love the shirt. The bandana was a very nice touch. Dancing.
Fuego choreography.
Fuego choreography.
But
definitely. I mean, anytime you get Justin on the stage, you're going to get
there was
great dance moves, great spectacle. I wasn't a fan of the music. Wasn't a fan of how much you could actually hear his voice. I wasn't a fan of how much the background singers you could actually hear over him. But he is going out and putting 100% in his stance.
TMZ was reporting about 5 to 10 minutes after the second half started. I was scrolling through Facebook right when the second half began. They had a lot of audio problems, which is kind of weird considering it's a beautiful stadium,
brand new too,
state of the art facility. So I don't know what happened with the audio. It was shitty. I honestly demand Metallica next year.
That's
Nothing short. I demand Metallica next year. And go ahead and hit up the comment section, guys. Let us know.
Let us know who you want to see next year. Let us know who
sure.
you think is.
We're all about bringing you guys involved.
Yeah, we definitely want to hear from the listeners out there.
Show us some love. Drop a comment.
Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that shit.
But anyway, would you agree Metallica next year?
100%, 100%. That's a band that definitely needs to be in the Super Bowl halftime show.
3 Metallica songs you need to play during that motherfucker.
Enter Sandman.
That's easy.
Easy.
Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy.
In that motherfucker with some fucking nothing else matters. Because at the end of the day, man, winning that motherfucker in the football world, nothing else matters.
No, nothing at all. When you're
storybook.
When you put on that jersey, when you put on those pads, that's what you play for. That's what you day one from draft day to training camp, preseason, regular season, you're playing for a Vince Lombardi trophy.
Your fans, your city, and everything, from your front office to your fellow teammates, everything's on the line. And people wonder. Honestly, I still agree that professional athletes are overpaid, but they got a lot on their shoulders, man. And if one bad play, like Pete Carroll's stupid ass coaching decision, Super Bowl 49.
That play will forever be referenced in the Maxwell compound. Jeez, man.
One play can distinguish you from a hero to a villain.
Definitely. And side note, something that happened today during the Super Bowl show. Tinder girl hits up my boy.
Oh man.
Max.
Oh man. No, man. She's gonna listen to this and she's gonna fucking snub both of us.
Immediately, it's like, oh, do you know Tony? Obviously, you must know Tony.
All I was doing some simple marketing, and me and this girl kind of hit it off on Tinder. And let's just be clear, Tinder is cancerous. Tinder is pure cancerous. And as soon as she didn't even click the link.
Oh my god!
And she was like, "Oh, you must know Tony." Yeah, matter of fact, he's sitting right beside me, and yeah, we're co-hosting in a Two Real Buds podcast.
Oh my god! Oh yeah.
She was still snapping me up to the point.
If you're listening to this,
this
comment, hit one of us up. Obviously you're gonna hit up Max now, but let us know your thoughts on this. Hitting up 2 best friends that are co-hosting a podcast. What are the odds of that? What are the odds of that?
It's a small world, man.
Small fucking world, dude. Small city.
But
jeez.
Back to football. Moving on from the Super Bowl, it's nothing but offseason. Of course, tomorrow, Patricia will be formally announced as the Lions head coach. Josh McDaniels will be formally announced as the Colts head coach. What do you think those two both have to offer for their new teams? And do you honestly think that with the coaching changes that kind of had an impact in the because it was a compared to the efficiency in the high level of New England coaching. Do you think that had something to do with them boggling down tonight,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think
knowing
that
that that's their last game?
I think that no matter what, you're in it to win the game. As a coach, as a player, regardless of anything, your first and primary concern is to win that game. I don't think anything else matters. I personally speaking, I don't care what I'm doing tomorrow. I
Mm-hmm.
care about the moment I'm in. So I don't need to think about, oh, I need to wake up for work tomorrow. I don't need to think about anything else tomorrow because I'm focused on the podcast now.
Correct. So what do you think would be the first thing that each one of those new head coaches do for their teams, other than of course call a press conference, all the
Yeah,
jibbery jabbery
yeah.
shit.
Uh, I don't know. Like, do you clean house as a coach? Like with
Well, that's a GM's job.
yeah,
Honestly,
true.
I think it's getting your coaching staff established. Of course, Colts are bringing in a defensive coordinator from the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to bring in some offensive coordinator or some offensive
And
coach from
that's what I was
Seattle.
referring to by cleaning house. Like, do you clean house? Do you clean out your coaching staff?
If it was me, I'd clean all the way down from coordinators all the way down to interns, bro. Start over. Both those
Start
teams need to
over.
start over. They both got
Eh,
franchise quality quarterbacks too.
No job is safe. No job is safe. You think?
Not in the rebuilding stage. I wouldn't call it a complete rebuild
I
for,
wouldn't
for
call
the
it for either
Indianapolis
team.
for the Indianapolis Colts. Is more as it's just not a tweak, but a mini rebuild,
I think
replacing the roof.
replace. Okay. I mean, the Lions 2 years ago weren't they in the playoffs? Or am I off? I might be. The Lions, they're not far
They're at
removed
least in
from.
contention of the
Yeah, they're
playoffs.
not far removed from the playoffs. Does this coaching change put them over the top? I don't know. I don't know because Belichick's assistants have a long history of not being able to pan out as a head coach. So I don't know. Josh McDaniels, I have
Nick Saban's a good
cons-
example of that in the NFL.
in the NFL for sure. What 1-15
For the
as the
Miami
Miami Dolphins
Dolphins, yep.
coach? Uh, I don't know. I think Josh McDaniels is definitely walking into a much better situation than most.
So
And Patricia has a good quarterback set up.
if you're an up and coming head coach, who would you rather have as your quarterback, Matthew Stafford or Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck, 10 times out of 10.
Why is
Every
that?
time. Because he
Not
has.
that I'm disagreeing with you.
No, obviously I don't think you would, but I think he just has the intangibles and the intelligence to be a much better and much more successful quarterback. Also, that division doesn't necessarily have
I don't
the
even think
talent at quarterback or defense than the NFC North. And the NFC North, you have to contend with Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers,
Mhm.
Minnesota with that defense, and with a third string quarterback was what, 12-14, 13-3, number 2 seed in the NFL or NFC.
Mhm.
It's hard. I would not want to step into that situation as a head coach.
So, from a head coach perspective, and of course, neither of us are head coaches, but what do you think is more important for each franchise right now, free agency or the NFL draft?
If you're the Colts, the draft because you have a much higher pick.
Mm-hmm.
As the Lions, I don't know because they're not exactly great at either of those two things. Name anybody they've drafted in the last 3 or 4 years that have panned out to be studs or even Pro Bowlers.
Theo Riddick's kind of underrated.
Underrated, but again, not a Pro Bowler. I don't think.
Correct. So, who do you think will have a better year next year?
If Andrew Luck comes back and they can give him a line that will actually keep him upright, easily the Colts. Because Andrew Luck gives you these intangibles that you can't measure on paper.
Mm-hmm.
He gives you mobility, he gives you great leadership, he gives you great football intelligence to just go out and make plays.
Correct.
And Matt Stafford is a great quarterback in his own right. I'm not trying to shit on him by any means, but like I said, he's not in a situation where.
And I know it's too early to tell or too early to really talk about this, but do the Colts get back in the playoffs next year?
That's hard because I don't know what Jacksonville's looking like on defense starting next year. I don't know how many of their dudes are coming back.
We know Jalen Ramsey's coming back.
Jalen Ramsey's coming back. I'm pretty sure they're keeping AJ Bouye. That secondary's tough. That secondary's tough as shit. Their linebackers tough as shit.
Honestly, I think the Colts
That line's tough. That defense is just tough.
Colts are going to need more weapons in that receiving core. If they can get Landry in free agency, that's why I was talking about free agency could be more important. Kind of,
Yes and no, but I
with
think you
offensive
can definitely
linemen.
get a lot more better pieces in the draft this year. It's definitely stocked with talent to be able to give you a good team. And give Luck the line he definitely deserves as a quarterback.
I can firmly agree with that. So anyway, we got a lot to look forward to next year. I think it's going to be a great offseason. It's going to be a pretty entertaining and fast-moving offseason, hopefully. I can't wait till we get back to
Who
August.
gets traded, Luck, Wentz or Foles? Who do you trade as the Eagles GM? Because you can't keep both quarterbacks.
Nick Foles. You trade Nick Foles.
No.
Wentz is your money, man, no matter what. He got you to the point, he got you to the playoffs.
He was putting up an MVP caliber season for sure, but I don't know if you...
He's younger. He's more versatile. I think that there's teams that need a quarterback. I think Miami.
Do you even shop both? Do you shop both and see what you can get for either, or do you just...
No, and the only reason I say that is you don't turn your back on who you drafted to be your franchise quarterback, which they drafted Carson Wentz to be their franchise quarterback.
Valid point. Okay, I definitely see your logic here. Personally, I don't think you get rid of the guy that wins you the Super Bowl. Personally.
Well, yes and no. But honestly, I'm not taking away from Nick Foles. He had a stellar playoffs. He only threw one pick, and from the time he took over to the time he raised that Vince Lombardi trophy about 30 minutes ago, and won that MVP. Like I said, it opens up the door for him. But I think he goes to goes to a team that needs a quarterback. Honestly, I can see him going to somewhere like Miami. I think Miami needs to move on from
they have Tannehill, though.
He's injury prone. I think you
but
shop him and move on.
But Miami definitely invests a lot of money in Tannehill. I don't think you get rid of him. Teams like Buffalo are obviously looking for a quarterback. Arizona needs a quarterback.
Palmer's done.
Broncos.
He retired.
Denver. Denver is definitely a team that's looking for a quarterback, and with that defense, could be great.
I would say the Giants, but I think they're going to draft Rosen.
I definitely think the Giants are looking to the draft for a quarterback, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with. I like Eli Manning, but he is getting old. He is getting up in age. Do you keep Manning and hope that the backup or the rookie coming in will learn from him, or do you?
And that was the same. That was the same. They're in literally the exact same situation with a fucking Manning, with a Manning, at the helm. Do you move on? I think you need to follow the Colts' footsteps and move on.
I don't disagree. I
love Eli Manning. I respect Eli Manning.
Where does he go? Where does he go from here?
Honestly, I think he goes to Denver. Denver loves old, washed-up quarterbacks. Nothing against John Elway. And how he runs his football team. That's his job.
Nothing wrong with Peyton Manning. His first couple years, he was still stellar, still putting up MVP numbers.
And there's a lot of Colts fans, and it's not me that, hate. They're all worried about, the whole Andrew Luck situation, blah, 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 blah. But I think we'd be a lot worse off if we did not move on from Peyton Manning. I love Peyton Manning. He's my favorite quarterback of all time. His jersey is right here on the wall behind me in this room for a reason. But you go with the younger man because you can get 3 great years out of your launch out of your previous franchise quarterback, or you can get 14 from a potential young guy that could do good things for you.
I definitely see it, but look at what Bill Belichick ended up doing with backup quarterbacks.
But they traded him.
I think that has more to do with Tom Brady still being at the helm than it does Belichick wanting those guys gone. I think he definitely wanted to keep Garoppolo.
Garoppolo's going to be a stud.
Garoppolo, yeah, easily. He was 4-0 off rip. The second he came in, he'll be great.
So
he'll be good.
We're going to make one big ass, and the only reason I'm saying this is because I love Mexican food. I love Hispanic heritage food. To wrap everything that we just talked about in a big ass burrito, from OTAs, from organized team activities till 30 minutes ago, how would you grade this year?
This year,
without the biasness of your team.
I give it a C+. which was what I would have given it anyway.
I'll give it a solid B minus. It was a pretty
B minus-
decent year. It was
I
a
don't
year of
know.
defense. It was a year of defenses.
A lot of great defenses came out this year, but too much political bullshit in the NFL. Too much players not sticking to the game. I'm not a fan of that.
I love
the
my-
catch rule. Fuck that. Out on that. Out on this fucking catch rule. Definitely needs to be addressed in the offseason. Definitely needs to fucking be gone and
It will.
appealed. Whatever the fuck it needs to do.
And
It's got to go. That shit's that's getting old.
But on the back from the right hand to the left hand, aside from the political bullshit, I don't pay. Politics ruin football. Political shit ruins football. So I'm not gonna get into that. We're not gonna get political here. We're not here to form political opinions. I don't like political statements in any game, whether it's NFL, NBA, and CAA. As much as I love veterans,
Sports, man. 6 supports.
You know,
Too
exactly. I'll touch on it a little bit, but like I said, I'm not a fan of political statements, and I was kind of, I'm all for veterans and people who serve this country, but at the end of the day, it is your right to stand or not to stand. But anyway, moving on from that, to wrap everything up, it was a great year. We got a lot to talk about in the offseason. I think the offseason is really going to be good this year. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to next year. I know you're looking forward to next year. There's going to be some new teams in the mix next year for sure.
Definitely a lot of new teams that will come up this year, I think. I mean, Jacksonville is one of those teams that you just came out of nowhere and rocked the world.
Mm-hmm. Most improved team.
Definitely.
Well, second, I give Philly. Philly went from 7-9 to a Super Bowl champion, so you have to give them the number one, of course. That's too easy. But it's time.
Do you think Tom Brady comes back next year and plays in another Super Bowl?
Absolutely. Maybe not playing another Super Bowl, but I think he comes back and maybe finishes out. I think he's got one or two years left.
I don't know. I mean, he's putting up MVP numbers this year. I mean, even if they weren't MVP, they're still elite. So what? You digress from MVP to elite? I think he'll be back, easily playing for another Super Bowl. New England's king until somebody can dethrone them in Foxborough.
It's a waiting game. We'll see. But yeah, it's time to wrap this one up. If you guys can go ahead and show us some love, drop a comment, subscribe. I don't like to beg for likes, but we're starting out, so we'll do it a little bit. So yeah, I want to appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody for tuning into the podcast. We got a lot more great content coming to you guys. So
definitely. Congrats to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, congratulations.
Love you guys. Yep. Catch you next time.
Yeah, much love from Colts Nation. We're definitely with you guys, and all our social medias, like I said, will be in the description, and I may even put our Snapchats up. Get some Snapchat love. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome, and we'll catch you in the next episode. We should have a new episode coming out later on this week. So I want to appreciate everybody for listening again. And this is the Men of the Two Real Buds podcast, and we are out.